Welcome, everybody. Today's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Okay, we made it. If you work, then Friday's awesome. If you don't work and you're living a life of luxury in retirement, then Friday isn't just another day. So one of the benefits to going to work. All right. Today is Wild Speculation Friday, isn't it? Mama Linda, welcome. Hi, critters. Good morning, Diane. I see eyes of green, red roses too. Okay. That's kind of like later on we'll perspire as we dream by the fire. Okay. So Carol R, welcome. First of all, Diane, you're a sweetheart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am going to be going through, there are some very good people in this community. I appreciate your help trying to get a new microphone. It is hard to understand unless you're a creator. It costs money to do what we do, even if we don't do it very well. For example, you have to pay for your editing software. You have to pay for whether you're using an app or software to make your thumbnails, trying to have, a normal looking kind of background that's interesting or whatnot. So, I haven't worked because I did work. I tried to work a little bit, but not like not even close to what I normally would. So money's very tight for a couple of, I guess a month or so. Money's tight, no extra money right now because I work a job that if I don't work, I don't get paid. I don't have the luxury of I'm taking a day off, a paid day off. I can't do that. If I don't work, I don't get paid. So my microphone is a mess. And so people are like, well, I can't hear you. Why are you even trying to make a video? Nobody can hear you. Your sound is awful. I know, but I don't have the money right now to buy something. So we have people were awesome. They are sending money to PayPal. I'm more than appreciative, more than you know. I put up on the community page, I've shown what I'm going to buy. It's the same microphone that I have. I noticed one thing about this new version. It's got a different design, and the part that I think is broken, that's causing the issue with the sound. I see where they've moved it on this new version of the same microphone. It's no longer like hidden at the bottom back where it's plugged in. So obviously I'm not the only one that was having those problems. So I was very glad about that. So that's up there. Had some people send me emails wanting to know if I would just put the microphone on like a gift, an Amazon wish list or gift list or whatever it's called. So I did that. I don't know if somebody's going to get it or not, but regardless, other people have helped me through PayPal. I don't quite have enough yet to buy it, but I'm getting there because you guys are amazing. And then I'll be absolutely front and center so that you know how much money it was and what it paid for. The thing that I did not put on the wish list, I did not put on the I did not put on there. I want to get a soundboard, and I also am thinking about getting me like a Chromebook, like a super inexpensive computer that will be only dedicated 100% just to the YouTube stuff. And so maybe what I'll end up doing is, if I end up with the extra $50 or whatever, I'll apply that toward the computer or the soundboard, whichever one I get. But the priority at this point is the microphone. And so that's, it's all going to be out there front and center. Y'all are all going to see exactly to the penny. I learned my lesson, so don't want anybody to I already had some nasty person say something like, "Oh, well, you don't care about," what did they say? Something like, "You don't care about your subscribers because you said you were going to go live one night and you didn't go live. And so, oh, now you want money. How about you show up?" And I'm laughing at them and I'm going, "Do you know how many videos I've made? Do you know how much I've shown up? Do you want to know the investment I've made in my channel?" Hush, go away. Go find somebody else to bug, because you're not going to bug me. All right. Now then, may I ask how much the microphone costs? I put it on the, I don't know if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this. Share screen. I don't know how to do this. Oh, let me do it this way. I know how to do this. Hold on. Okay, I don't want to. Let me open a new tab because all of these I need. Look, hold on just a minute and I'll show you, Yvette. Come on. It's slow, but it's Friday. There I am. I'm live. She's alive. She's real. She wriggles on her belly like a reptile. One thin dime, 1/10 of a dollar. See this marvel. Can you hear me? I can hear myself. That's quite disconcerting. Hold on, Yvette. I'm getting there. Here we go. All right, so now I'll just share my channel. Hold on. Hold on. Present. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. There it is. So that's the microphone. I think. Yeah. That's the microphone. I wonder if I can make that smaller. It's so big, isn't it? Oh, well. That's the microphone. And you see this knob right here? That knob is not there on my microphone that broke. This is like way down under here where the connector goes in. And so I think it bent and I think it like broke the cords. So they've, changed it. But if you look on the, this is on the community page of it. And then there's the link to the, I put the gift lift on allegedly innocent. That if you search it on Amazon, allegedly innocent, and it's on sale right now. That's the only thing that's on the gift registry, because that's the big issue. That's my pressing problem right now. But I do think once I can deal with this, then I do think it's possible that the computer that I'm using, it's an old computer, horrible. It could be the computer that is also an issue. I just don't have any way of knowing. It's not, the computer was like $300 when I bought it and it's years old now. So, I'm not an extravagant, woman. So it's possible that I may need to like get a little Chromebook or something to run it, but I'm going to play it by ear. I'm going to try to see if this will fix it. If it doesn't, then I do want a soundboard just because it's fun, not because I need it, because it's fun. I would like a soundboard and then some little dedicated computer that's only for YouTube or for videos is a better way to say it. So that's where I'm at. And we're done with that. All right. Okay. And right now we're doing WYLD Speculation Friday. Now, yes, we generally do talk. Why is it still up there? We generally do talk about Wild Speculation Friday is specific for crimes, correct? Well, today we're talking about crimes against humanity. Well, that's a little dramatic, but so my story, whoops, that's not it. That was a presentation, sorry. Looking for my picture. Aha, there's my picture. And what a lovely creature she is. However, she's 70 or 80 years old. Okay, so let's be a little polite and kind. The story is a very interesting one. Now, this is a computer generated model by artificial intelligence. All right, just stay with me. We're into wild speculation here, okay? So this company, this is hilarious, but it's true. This company, Furniture at Home, this is who sponsored this supposed project. That they got this artificial intelligence computer and they put these, parameters in and said, tell us what's happening, what we're looking at coming down, through the decades. What they wanted to know is so during COVID, everybody went from, pre-COVID, we had this lifestyle where we set our alarm, we got up, we put our power clothes on, we went out in the world and we made a life. At the end of the day, we'd come back home to our houses where it was time to rest and lick our wounds from the fights of the day and then sleep and get up and get at it again the next day. There have been times throughout modern history since the 80s, 90s, there's been times throughout history where people have, companies have tried, they've attempted to do work from home, right? And it's never been successful. They've tried in multiple ways throughout the decades, and it always failed. Maybe it failed because productivity was low. Maybe it failed because the employees would get isolated and they would develop mental health problems. They'd get depressed or they'd develop a drinking problem, that kind of thing. But the point being is that we've always had this idea in our head, theoretically, what would it be like to work primarily from home, sort of like a culture from the future, right? And it's always failed. These projects have always been abandoned until COVID. So when COVID hit, things changed dramatically, and they changed within a couple of weeks' time, literally. I had already begun. It was kind of interesting. I was blessed, I suppose. I had already begun the exploration of telehealth services. It was still quite theoretical. Not very many people were doing it. There were a few general practitioners that were kind of playing with the idea. And so I had taken a couple of classes, like continuing education classes, that talked about telehealth and the ethics of providing therapy online and how do you ensure HIPAA privacy requirements and that kind of thing. So I'd already been playing with it. But for the other people that I was working with, they had not even considered this. It wasn't even like on their radar. And suddenly we're told, okay, we're going to go home for a couple of weeks, see if we can get this virus under control, and then we'll figure out what to do later. And a week later, we get a message that says, okay, we're all going to telehealth. And the world stood still for many professions across the world, because people said, we don't know how to do that. And we don't even have like a training period. And you're saying we're doing this in 3 days. How? Okay. There was a heavy reliance on Zoom, and then Zoom cratered because it couldn't handle the level of use. And so everybody, this was a period while most of us were at home and we were trying to figure out, well, how are we going to order groceries and not let the virus come in on our can of pork and beans? Most of us were worried about things like, did you find any Lysol in the store? Do we have enough toilet paper to get through? But the giants of industry, those people working in the technology sector, they were rapidly not only working on end user, me and you, and a computer interface, but they were rapidly working on just trying to get the big infrastructure set up so that it could handle the sheer amount of individuals accessing the network and the various machines, as opposed to when you're in an office, you have a mainframe and all the people work there, and then there's much less traffic out into the internet itself. So it was a time of really enormous innovation and change, the very rapid growth from a macro level as well as end user level. And ultimately, to make a long story short, we adapted because we had to. We didn't have a choice. It was survival. Especially people like me. If I don't work, I don't get paid. There's nobody. I'm the top of the food chain. And if I don't have a reason to bill the insurance company or the government, there's no income. It's just not there. So people adapted because they were forced to. That's usually how change happens. There's not a single person on the planet that would wake up and say, I'm really happy with the way my life is going. My career is great. I'm productive. I'm happy. I'm healthy. Life is awesome. I think I'll change. Never have those words been spoken together. That people change when things get difficult and hard. People change when suddenly things are not working anymore. It's one of the reasons why something like infidelity or the death of a spouse, you have a point of decision to make. This can either destroy me, this can be the end of my life, or I can use all this discomfort and need. I can use it as a catalyst for great change that can put me in a better place. And again, you just come with that moment of decision. So COVID served as that catalyst related to technology and work, and to now, more than 30% of people continue in their post-COVID changes. Everybody thought as soon as we open up the society and we open back up the jobs and the schools and whatnot, people are going to be hungry to get back out there in the world and be a part of a bigger community. And that hasn't happened. More than 30% of people remain in their post-COVID behaviors. They started working from home and they love it. Okay. And now I'm in Texas, in the greater Houston area. And so we have many, many oil companies. And so there was a kind of a push in that more conservative or established old school kind of mentality of business. And the oil companies and the service companies, they got a bit tough within the past 6 or 8 months. And they got tough with their workers and they said, you're coming back to the office. We're not going to keep doing this. We're not even going to do hybrid. We are a company and we need to be able to see each other every day. We need to be able to collaborate. We need to be able to look at each other down the hallway and say, hey, Marie, step in here a minute and let me tell you something I've been working on. We need to get back to that business relationship of high productivity. And we workers went, no. Mm-mm. I can collaborate with Marie just fine on Zoom. And so there are a lot of people right now as we speak that their companies have sort of brought the hammer down and said, no, we are going back into the office. We've got these multi-million-dollar buildings downtown that are sitting completely empty, and we need to fill them up with people. We need to restart our life and get back on track. And the worker is saying, no, I don't benefit from your big multi-million-dollar building. You benefit. You get to have the big corner fancy office and the plant lady that comes in and keeps your office pretty. And you get to have your fancy little meetings in your boardroom. You benefit from all of the bells and whistles, but not we worker bees. We worker bees, you guys gave us cubicles. You did that. The same people that are saying we're a team, we got to be together. You guys put us in cubicles. You turned us into honeybees. And the only job that we have is to make the honey that you're going to benefit from. So no, we're not interested in coming back down there and playing the supportive role of you as the conqueror of the world. We don't want to do that. Some companies have been smart and they have recognized, oh, people don't want to go back to work. And we're a smaller company. We don't have the resources as these big giant Exxon and whatnot. And so we could actually attract some really sharp talent. All we got to do is just say, we'll give you a hybrid position. Well, you can stay home 2 days a week or 3 days a week and then come into the office a couple of days. Or better yet, we'll let them stay home every day and we just won't pay them as much money. And they'll say, okay. And they are. That's what's happening right now in Houston, Texas. So people are leaving jobs because they're being asked to re-enter the workplace. And they're saying, no, I don't want to. I like working from home. This is what I want. I have no interest in being back out in that Houston traffic or in the rat race. And so this company called Furniture at Home, they made use of AI technology to ask the question, where's all this going? Where are we all going to end up? This was in some ways the height of wild speculation fueled by artificial intelligence. The parameters that were provided was this. We want to know what stay-at-home workers will look like by the year 2100. And that is when the AI computer gave us Anna. This is Anna that you are looking at. Anna has a problem in her cervical spine. She is hunchback. Why? Right? Hunched over that computer. Okay. Whether Anna is sitting at a desk, whether she's sitting in her bed, most of us, our computer is lower. And so we're looking down. Same thing with these. Our children are growing hunchbacks because we're like this. I don't know if y'all can see me because we're like this. Our phone is down a little bit. We're looking down like this. Right? So our kids are ending up with hunchbacks now. That's one of the reasons why my computer is 14 inches up off my desktop, right? I'm able to look straight ahead so that I'm not down. Or, even when I'm typing, I'm still having to look up. This monitor is even higher than that, but my camera, with my camera, I'm probably around 20, 21, 22 inches up. Causes me to have to sit up, hold my head up, my shoulders back. Also, my back is not, my back's against my chair. I'm actually sitting straight up without leaning against my back because I'm because I saw Anna. I'm scared. No, I'm kidding. No, I've done this because I knew with some of the work that I do hospital-wise, some of the orthopedics were talking about how many kids that they were having coming in with neck problems and shoulder problems, and it was 100% the fault of the cell phones, the smartphones. So for Anna has first notable, I think, thing that we can see is on the right-hand side, we can see that she has a hunchback right here. And it's actually the spinal column it's not properly aligned. It's going to cause a lot of problems. It's going to cause nerve pains. There'll be movement disorders. It could end up being some like vertigo issues and things like that. So this is a really, really bad problem. If we look a little bit close, now remember, Anna is 70, 80 years old. So she's an old lady, okay? But you don't see very many old ladies with that level of curvature, in their spine. The other thing about Anna, as a result of a consistent use of technology and screen exposure, is her facial features will take on a different look than what we currently expect people to look like. What I do with it. Here she is. All right. So most notable is, look at her eyes, right? Now she's old. Okay. So she's going to age anyway. But the problem is that the eyes are affected by the technology, the constant focus on the screen. It's having real effect on the health of the eyes. The retina for people that work all day long on technology. They are being affected. And so there a lot of optometrists, ophthalmologists are asking people to follow the 20-20-20 rule, so that you can give your eyes a bit of a rest from the onslaught of all this color and light that is coming to you all the time. And that is, if you look at the screen for 20 minutes, to look away for 20 seconds, but to focus your eyes on something that is about 20 feet away. And what that will do is that will allow the eyes the pupils to open and close and adjust. As we sit and stare at our computer screens, not only do we have this onslaught of intense color and light that really you don't get anywhere else in the world. I mean, there's no other natural environment, maybe Las Vegas, but there's no other natural environment where someone is exposing themselves to 8-10 hours a day, where they're focusing on just bright light and bright color and no movement in depth. So our pupils are not changing as we're working. Now, if you watch a video, that can cause some movement, but not as pronounced as if you're watching a TV across the room, or if you look up and you're having to look at first the chair closest to you, and then maybe a plant that's 10 feet away, and then the other side of the room where maybe you can see a photograph of your children, right? It's natural for the eyes to get that movement. When they stay static, you develop some very serious eye problems, which is one of the reasons why poor Anna has such dark, red, watery, painful eyes. But working from home is great. It's so great. All right. So that's one of the issues, is that her eyes are almost like almost dehydrated, sunken in, and they hurt, they sting, and she can't focus. Everything is super blurry other than the stuff that's exactly as far away from her eyes as her screen is, because she's now trained her eyes that they don't have to focus. They only have to be able to see the screen. I know. This is terrible, isn't it? How are y'all feeling about Wild Speculation Friday so far? It's kind of bleak, right? Especially if you're a work from homer. All right. What's the next thing? Well, let me move my picture for y'all. Hold on. I'll be right with you. Oh, that's enough. That's enough, Karen. All right, here we go. All right, so let me share a different picture. There we go. All right. Again, please pay attention. She's old. It's okay. We're all going to look like that one day. Well, hopefully we won't look this bad. But what I want to draw attention to are Anna's hands. Take a look at your hands right now. Hold your hands up. I know, Lady of Angels. It's terrible. Hold your hands up in front of you. What do they look like? Do they look like claws? Why? Why is Anna gonna have claws when she's a little old lady? That's why. Right? Yep. There's your claw hand. And this is an ergonomic mouse that's not quite as, a regular mouse is not as sleek. At least this one holds my fingers out flat, right? So if you're sitting and you're working for 8-10 hours a day on a computer, if you work all day at home on a computer, and then you also, when you get home, all of your social time is on a computer, that's where we're headed, right? Cat scratch fever. All right, that's right, Cali Connect. Okay. Kind of scary. What are y'all thinking? How are y'all feeling about old Anna here? This research it was the brainchild of the University of Leeds, using that was inspired by this company, Furniture at Home. They said to visualize the effects of not having a proper place to work at home, Furniture at Work used scientific research and worked with healthcare experts to reveal what the remote worker of the future could look like if we continue to sit in our beds and, work. We need, if we're going to be, let me share this picture here. If we're going to continue to work from home, many of us, we sit in our beds and work, and the computer is very low down. So your head's down all the time working. or you've got your smartphone in your hand and your head's down. You got to get your head up. Okay. That's number one. Get your head up, sit upright. Don't just like lay around in your chair. Okay. You're not in a recliner, damn it. This actually is the way that I completed my PhD. And instead of a what is that? A bowl of popcorn, perhaps? Instead of a bowl of popcorn beside me, I had a baby beside me, a little teeny tiny newborn. And as she moved from the larval stage into childhood, I grew from a weary, overworked graduate student to a psychologist. Okay. But my office was my bed. So, now what this work from home, University of Leeds, what they're trying to say is, okay, if you're bound and determined that you want to do this, if you're absolutely certain that what you need and what you want out of life is to, be isolated and alone at home. I lost my picture. To be isolated and alone at home rather than out in the office, being with your peers and making friends. At the very least, there are some basic healthcare issues that you need to pay attention to. And so that's how they fueled this experiment. All right. Now, look, can I be honest? It's not lost on me that this was a furniture store. It was a furniture store that sells desks and home office equipment. So do I think that there was a little bit of selfishness? Was this a marketing ploy? Perhaps. But even if it came from a marketing idea, the fact that they reached out to the University of Leeds, and then Leeds took some of their actual real researchers and said, hey, this is a really good question. Why do we do it the right way? Let's actually do this experiment or inquiry. And now we've got this really good information. Another aspect that that AI brought to light that hasn't really been talked about very much was, obviously immense amount of weight gain. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But more importantly, what no one had considered, ironical that they didn't consider, because all of this started with a little bug called COVID, was that when you work from home, you spend the majority of your time alone. You're only exposed to your own germs. Guess what happens to your immune system? Your immune system begins to fail. By being out in the workforce, by going out to the grocery store, you're being exposed to a lot of different germs, and that prompts your immune system to work hard to make sure that your immunity is all up to date. Another issue specifically related to health and immune system is air circulation. In a lot of these homes, this is a different project, but a lot of homes, they went in and they checked air quality. When you're working in a big office building, they must comply. The air has to be clean, healthy. There has to be good circulation and certain temperature. But when they went into various people's homes, what they found out was this person is now being exposed to black mold 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, rather than just 10 hours a day. When they go to work, they get clean air, right? So that's another issue that came to pass but now these people that are living in suboptimal levels, instead of them being exposed to bad air a small portion of the day, it becomes 24 hours. And that too is really going to take its toll. About the weight gain that is associated with this lifestyle, I think I talked about this once before. During COVID, I really wasn't, I don't eat a lot anyway. I kind of snack, but I don't eat very much at a single time. And so when COVID came around, I was eating even less. No appetite. You're not out in the world. You're not working, a lot of movement, and just wasn't there. And yet I kept gaining weight, kept gaining weight. And I kept thinking, oh, it's gotta be the rheumatoid arthritis. It's gotta be the medication, finding all these, reasons. And then one day I got to thinking about it and I thought, well, let's think our way through this, right? On a regular work day, when I'm going to the hospital, I knew that I would get naturally about 7,000 steps in a normal work day, going around the hospital, different floors, whatnot. Walking to the building was a long walk. But now when I get dressed for work, it's literally counted in feet, literally, right? And then I just go down one flight of stairs and then I'm in my office. And I don't move then all day. I'm working right here. I may see 9, 10 people, but I'm not moving around. And so I thought, that's interesting. Let me see. So at the time I was using a Fitbit. So I put my Fitbit on to compare. I knew that I was getting naturally, I was getting about 7,000 steps at the hospital. Now I start measuring what I'm getting during COVID, working from home, and my jaw hit the ground. On the days that I'm working, I have a full-time work day. I was consistently showing 1,200 steps, 1,500 steps. I was essentially laying down all day, basically. I was sitting in front of a computer. I wasn't even moving as much as when I'm up cleaning the house. I wasn't even moving as much on the weekend when family's here and we're outside and we walk down to the pier or go to the grocery store. No, you just walk to it. You get up out of bed, you walk to a chair and you sit, and there you are for 9, 10 hours. No movement, no need to move, no requirement to move, right? Even if I get hungry and decide I want lunch, it's still only a couple dozen steps to walk up the stairs and be in my kitchen. So that was a shock to me. And I thought, golly, if I'm gaining weight this quickly because of this literal just sedentary, in the truest sense of the word, sedentary lifestyle, what is happening to my heart? What's happening to my muscles that I'm not even, where I parked to walk into the hospital? That's quite a walk. It takes about 15, 20 minutes. So that's a mile, right? But here I was now working every single day from home. At the very least, that was 10 miles a week of walking that I wasn't getting. And that wasn't even counting what I was walking when I was in the building. So I was like, wow, this is not sustainable. This is not going to work. This is horrible. And so now I've dramatically changed the way I do it. So between each appointment, I have 7 minutes, and I'm faithful. And when I end an appointment, I get up and I walk out to my driveway. It's quite a bit of walk. I walk out to my driveway, then I walk all the way through my yard to the end of the pier and then back. And that takes right at 6, 7 minutes. So that's a half a mile. And I do that between each appointment, just because I thought I might have any muscles, like they're going to completely go away. And then what happens to me? All right. So that was a bit of insight that I thought, this is not good. Like this is not going to work out very well. So we've got different parts of the body being affected in quite a profound way, right? By this work at home, stay at home thing. Number one, our eyes. We've got to accept that our eyes are made to discern depth and distance. And if all we're doing is staring at the same screen, the same length of space away, we are harming our eyes. The way that we know we're doing it is they burn and they're red and they're dry. You'll pay the price if you continue this. So 20-20-20 rule, 20 minutes looking at your screen, look away, focus on something that is 20 feet away, and then stare at that for 20 seconds and then go back to work. So there's that. The other is the spinal curvature. You're going to have to figure out a way to get your computer up so that you're looking at it like it was person so that your chin is up and your back is straight and you can hold your shoulders back and you can look straight away. Sitting up on the edge of your chair rather than sitting back and kind of reclining. Again, it keeps your core strong and it keeps your body aligned if you're holding your core up. Some people have gotten the standing desk. I'm not that dedicated, but some people have gotten it and they really like the standing desk. So that will work. Finding a way to add extra steps as you go through your day working, adding steps between individual tasks can be a big help. And then I want to talk about the gamers of the future, because this is sort of where the idea of the research came from, is that they had considered people that are avid gamers. They're sitting there for hours, and hours a day playing their video games. Might be your child, might be you, might be your husband or wife, but you might want to pay attention. So over a course of 15, 20 years of avid gamemanship, you can expect the same damage to your eyes. So your eyes will be bloodshot, they'll be dehydrated, they'll very, very intensely red from strain. And you will find that your eyes have lost their ability to focus and for the pupils to work. You will have a dented skull because many of them lay back, right, against their gamer chairs. So your skull back here will be dented, which will affect movement, body movement. Blistered hands. These are electronics and they are emitting what? So blistered hands. You will have the same characteristic hunchback. You will be pallid, very pale due to poor circulation in the body. And you were very likely to have all sorts of any manner of diseases because your immune system will be devastated and destroyed by the lifestyle living like a bat. Coronavirus isolation led to a boom in online gaming and people doing side gigs on the computer, like my YouTube channel. Gamers, after COVID lockdown, gamers were spending an increase of 20%, so 120% of it more than what they were originally playing. And they have failed to return to their pre-COVID lifestyle. They're continuing this constant. Now, one question you have to ask yourself is, okay, but why? Are they addicted to gaming? Are they like, what is happening that they're spending so much focus and so much time on the games? And the answer would be that they're getting paid. They're getting paid. My little channel, I don't make anything on it anymore. But those people that are doing gaming, those kids come and watch and they will get 50, 80,000 view minutes over the course of a couple hours of a game. They're being shaped to game 24/7. The paycheck that is associated with the nearly constant online model is you are now a slave, you're a cog in the wheel, and we're going to give you a little dose of money to keep you pedaling, to generate activity for YouTube or whatever your system, whatever platform you're using for gaming. We see YouTubers actually that are trying to enact the same model. If you go and you look at one day of their streams, their live streams, They may divide it up over 2, 3, 4, 5 live streams, but if each live stream is 2 or 3 hours long, how long did they stay online? It's devastating. It's devastating physically. It's devastating emotionally. It's interfering with your effective communication with family and friends. And it's going to turn you into, the gamer from the Batcave. Now, this guy right here this is a sad, sad fella right here. I'm happy being that 70-year-old. You know what I mean? I'd much rather be the 70-year-old hunchback lady than the poor gamer guy. Okay. So the gamer guy has a dent in his skull because he's laid back lounging all the time, or because he's got his headset on. Yeah. And what if the gamer does what I do, plays virtual reality? Then you have that whole headpiece. They're heavy on the front and the strap run around the back. This poor guy's going to have brain damage before it's all over with. He's also going to have bald spots on his head. Rather than a beautiful head of hair, he's going to have bald spots where the headset and the headphones are rubbing on his head. Dark circles, the same reason that the 70-year-old work from home lady has got her dark circles and bloodshot eyes. He will also have the same. He's also going to be dealing with rounded shoulders. He's going to have the hunchback of Notre Dame. He's going to be all, hi, I'm the world famous gamer. I know, it was an ugly face. I'll try never to do that again. He's also going to be obese. He's going to be morbidly obese because he doesn't move. He literally doesn't move. His skin shall be ever so pale because there's no light in the room. He never goes outside. That skin hasn't seen a ray of sunshine in 17 years. That means he's also going to have trouble with his legs and live in pain because people with vitamin D deficiency, well, it's a bit like he's got the scurvy. All right. Also, he's going to have PlayStation thumbs. Not pretty. He's going to have big, bumpy, misshapen thumbs from hell. And what about carpal tunnel? He may have carpal tunnel where he can only, because he's been holding his mouse, he can never move his hand position again. It's just going to stay like that forever and ever and ever. He's going to have Nintendo arthritis. Yes, even today, the kids, the young people that play hours upon hours of video, they laughingly talk about Nintendo arthritis. But is it a joke? Or is it the real thing? Finally, varicose veins, swollen ankles. It'll be like this young man is in the midst of the worst month of pregnancy imaginable. He's going to be miserable. And never forget the blisters on his hands coming from the electronics that he's clinging to so desperately. All right. It is important to note that, this was good research funded and completed by the University of Leeds, and it was done by a furniture store, Furniture at Work. And basically, the takeaway was, listen, if you want to save your life, if you want to save yourself from becoming the Nintendo monster of the darkness, or the frazzled little old lady working from home, claws out, scaring neighborhood children, if you want to avoid these fates worse than death, then you're going to have to get yourself set up with a designated workspace with the proper ergometric furniture. It's important to establish clear boundaries between your time at work and your time in the home. We here at Furniture at Work, we are here to save you from this fate worse than death. So come pay us a visit. We'll get you set up and bring about $7,000 with you, because that's what it's going to cost to avoid the fate worse than death. All right, I'm done. What y'all think? Is that crazy speculation? Is it? Do you think we're all going to look like that? I know, Barbara, we're laughing and we're going, oh my God, my neck, every night my neck hurts. I can't see because I've been on the computer all day. My hands hurt. Give me a BC powder. And yet, Barbara, you and I are watching this going, that'll never happen to me. Okay, but I think it is already happening. Oh, is Diane leaving? I have to go now. I need to mow before the rain. You get out there, girl. You get out there and bust your butt so that you don't become the Nintendo monster of the dark. All right. We'll see you later, Diane. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. All right. Skin cancers, that'll be the positive. Skin cancer should go down, right? But look, this isn't in jest. The reality is we do have very good research, and the reality is 30% of people continue in their post-COVID behavior. We're not going back to life before. We're just not. We've gotten a taste of the poison fruit, and we're here. This is what we don't want to go out in the world. We don't want to work. We want to do our work at home. We want to make money with as much individual freedom as we can possibly develop. Right now, as we speak, for about the past 8 months, I have been working on my plan that will allow me to travel around the United States and the world and still work, still do my job, but to have the freedom to travel and do what I want to do. If I'm going to do that, I have to be licensed in all these different areas, right? And so that takes time. It takes money. It's a lot. But that's just like everybody else. You get the taste of freedom. You like it. And then your imagination kicks in and you think, yeah, what if I could follow these big cases around and go listen to the testimony and whatnot and report back on my channel? That would be fun. That would be enjoyable. So it would be nice if I could figure out a way to engineer my life that would accommodate that. But in the meantime, people, I have, my husband, we've got my computer up. I'm forced to sit up and look straight ahead. I don't have a choice. I don't typically lean back in my chair. If I do, I've got a footstool to keep my feet up, but I don't typically do that because it feels uncomfortable. I'm a lot more comfortable using my muscles to be sitting upright and working. My eyes are definitely paying the price. This is hard on my eyes. And my eyes have gotten worse, no doubt. But how much is that is general aging? You don't know. So, but after reading this article, now I'm being really thoughtful about, okay, I got to look away from the computer. I got to look around the room, right? And I did start a couple of years ago doing that walk in between patients because I just kept thinking, how do you go from 10, 11, 12,000 steps a day down to 2,000 steps a day and your heart survive as a muscle? So that really scared me. Hey, Martin, how are you doing? Just took it. Yeah, of course, Martin. It's it's the man's job to build structures. I might hurt my hands, and I don't want to hurt my hands. In the meantime, do not become a hunchback. Sit up straight. Look down your nose upon the lesser informed people of the world who are like, okay, enough of that. All right. My husband lives laughing at people driving in cars by themselves wearing masks. Yvette, what is that about? Me and Bill laughed. That is something else. That is something different. That is not being respectful of an unseen bug. That is a different problem. Maybe shame on me, but I never stopped living. I was a rebel, but I also got COVID. That's okay. Gonna dance with the devil. Can I say this? When you caught COVID, you made your immune system stronger. There's that, right? I get sore if I sit for too long. I'm better off if I keep moving. Absolutely, Callie. That was something else I noticed too. You know, my first realization, of course, it was about the weight. Why am I gaining weight? And then I figured out why I was gaining weight. But one thing that I did notice when I started walking in between appointments, my days were not as long. My days felt much shorter. I felt better, you know, so I agree. We were made to move. We're made to walk. We're made to walk. Yeah, that was pretty interesting to be driving down the freeway and seeing somebody alone in their car and they had their mask on. You just thought, why? Maybe it could have been just acclimation, that they just got used to having it on, and so it didn't occur to them to take it off. Me, I cheated, man. If there was nobody standing in front of me, I was pulling that mask down, breathing. And as soon as somebody walked around the corner, I'd go. I still see people wearing masks walking down the sidewalk outdoors. I don't know. Look, here in Galveston, this was something that blew my mind. They banned people from going to the beach. Now, bear with me for 1 minute. Hear me out. They shut the beaches down. Okay, they shut the restaurants down. You couldn't get a haircut, but you could go to Walmart where there were 10,000 other people, but that was safe. It's okay. But not these other smaller stores and smaller places. But then they shut the beaches down. And I said, okay, let's think this through. Number one, it's salt water, correct? And that salt water rolls up onto the sand and deposits what? Salt. So the sand itself is actually a virus's worst nightmare. If a virus lands on a beach, it's like a grotesque massacre of the virus. It can't survive in the sand. Now, bacteria can, but not viruses, okay? And the water is salty. So if you get in the ocean and you have COVID on you, COVID dies. So there's that issue. And then you're breathing this air that has all that is different because of the exchange of salt, the evaporation of the water, the salt that is particles that are low. It's different, right? It's really the safest place on the planet if what you're trying to avoid is a virus. And yet they said, oh no, we got to be safe. We got to close the beaches. And you're like, but sir, it's not a shark. It's a virus. And we're talking about a heavily salted environment, and viruses have no hope of surviving even a teeny little grain of salt. So weird. I don't know. People just made arbitrary rules and people followed them. It's weird. Yeah, cheated no more. It wasn't that amazing. You just thought, are you thinking your way through this? Like, are you actually considering what you're telling us that going to the beach, sunshine kills viruses? Am I right? And bacteria. Sunshine, salt water. You're closing that down, what could conceivably actually help people be well and healthy. You're shutting all that down, but then you're telling everybody that the only place that they can go that is safe is Walmart. Are you stupid? You know, that, I mean, it really, I was very concerned about the people that were making decisions. I thought it was very odd. I didn't see, you know how they say follow the science or believe the science, something like believe the science or whatever. Why were we allowed to go to Walmart? Of all the stores on the planet, Walmart is the one where I hold my breath. I don't want to go to Walmart. You know that store is not being cleaned well. I don't want to go to Walmart. I'd rather go to the small little grocery store where they have the fruit and vegetables outside the store on the sidewalk. I just want to go grab a few apples and toss a $20 bill to the guy there at the cash register and keep walking. But you're making me go into Walmart where I'm bound and determined to pick up a virus or a bacteria, correct? It's so weird. It's so weird. Germ mart. There you go, Yvette. I've always wanted a salt pool. Absolutely. Yes. I work in healthcare. Wearing a mask doesn't increase your CO2 intake. Headache may have been from the straps around the ears or nose. Yep. Still sad. Poor little guy. Here's a problem though, right? And Lacey knows this. It's not popular, but it is a fact. Yeah. The N95 P100 masks are absolutely, they can absolutely filter out the COVID virus and other viruses. There's no doubt they work. They work. They keep you safe, keep you alive. Okay. Now, the surgical masks that we were wearing, they don't filter the air. You're not getting filtered air. You're not breathing filtered air, right? The goal, the way that helps is it stops you from spreading your germs into the environment. So like if you sneeze or if when you're talking, you have spittle, then it doesn't end up, on the railing in the stairway or on your desk or whatever. So that's kind of how it helped. But a lot of people looked at the mask like it was somehow an air filtration system. And that's not how it was. That's not the reason for wearing the mask. The mask was to keep your germs with you. That was the goal of the mask. So, but I can tell you this, because a lot of people say, well, why do we just wear N95s all day? Lacey can tell you why. Because when you wear an N95 or P100 mask, you're very uncomfortable, and it takes a toll after a while. You have to breathe in a really intentional manner to be able to keep getting the same amount of oxygen. So it's harder work to breathe, and it's uncomfortable and it's not sustainable. You can't wear one and spend the whole time. So I laughed. I saw this. I think it was Europe. I think they were having a conference in Europe and they were talking, a healthcare conference, and all of the providers were like in this auditorium type seating. And the World Health Organization officials, they were on the stage and they were talking about what the plan was, how to keep the hospitals clean and safe, and how we were going to get through all this. And so everybody's listening carefully. Now, everyone in the audience, these are doctors, right? These are providers. And so they're all doctors and they're all sitting there and they're listening, they're taking notes and everything. And I laughed because of the number of doctors that were like pulling at their mask or touching and fixing their mask. Right, Lacey? Worst thing in the world you can do, because your hand, this is where all the virus is. It's you're picking it up on your hands for the most part. But the mask made people uncomfortable. And so they keep adjusting them through the day, which is touching their face. And they were all doing it. It wasn't a few people. And these were doctors, these were surgeons, people that are accustomed to wearing, the safety equipment. But I laughed because right as the camera zoomed in, there were these two old guys sitting together. And one of them is like messing with it, messing and fixing with this mask. And his friend is sort of looking at him and he elbowed him and he went, like, you're touching your mask, quit. And the other doctor went. So it was a weird period of time. It was everybody was trying to do the right thing. Everybody was trying to figure out, the right way. And we're still trying to figure it out. Our economy is suffering the effects of policies that were made during that period of time. And they weren't the policies, the decisions that were made were not done because they were dumb people or they were trying to exploit the situation. They were legitimately in a novel situation nobody ever been in before. Well, I guess since the turn of the century, but they were just trying to they were just trying to make it work. They were just trying to figure it out. And I mean, we obviously survived it. So there were some good decisions made. But now we're dealing with an economy that is out of control because we dumped too much money at the problem. We just sent, I know one girl, single, didn't work, had 2 children. She got $20,000 from the US government. She was already on public assistance. She was already on food stamps. It's not like she lost her job. It was all of the middle class, either business owners or people that had higher education and they were employed by these bigger companies. They were the ones that lost their jobs, not people on public assistance. They never missed a check. They kept getting all of their assistance. But somehow the first round of support money, none of the people that became unemployed because of COVID got the money. All of this money went to people already on public assistance. And it was a lot of money. $20,000 1 month this young woman got. And yet we knew people that, lost their businesses and their homes, and it's horrible. But again, you have to listen. These people, they didn't make bad decisions on purpose. They didn't do it to hurt us. They were simply trying to figure it out. And it was new and it was nothing that the world had ever conquered. This worldwide pandemic had never happened before. Usually epidemics will travel from like one continent back and forth to another, getting weaker each time. This was something nobody ever seen before. I still don't know how it happened. How did we all get it at one time? Almost like it was planted. It was weird. How do you have a strange new novel virus bubble to the top in China, and yet Seattle, Washington has got a whole hospital full of it? Where'd that come from? So there's some weird thing, some strange things about even the beginning, how it even started, it's very odd. But yeah, that was somebody I know face to face. I see a lot. $20,000. I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe when she told me. And she's like, "Well, what did y'all get?" I was like, "That's what we got, because we have savings." So, all right. You know what? So Lacey says, "Oh my God, did a bunch of celebrities take out the PP loans and not use them for intended purposes?" Yes, ma'am, they did. But listen to this. Are y'all ready? Drum roll. Guess who else took out a loan and didn't use it for its intended purposes? Barry Morphew. Hey, Barry, what's shaking, baby? You did that. In addition to federal election fraud, and firearms violations. Yes, Martin. Martin just said it. Yes. He's a peach, isn't he? He's a peach. Paid $65,000 for a bobcat. Maybe the cat did it. Maybe the cat got her, Martin. Oh, I hate that guy. He's the guy everybody loves to hate, right? All right. And $0 for single individuals whose children are grown. It's travesty. Absolutely. Yep. So we are now here once again in uncharted territories. As I said at the beginning of this hour and 15 minutes, multiple times throughout history, starting in the 70s, 80s, 90s, people have tried to do some manner of work from home, and it was never successful. And that was one of the benefits. That's one of the lifelong changes that COVID created in our modern culture is now people want to work from home. They have the tools. We have the infrastructure. Now we can. And that was a direct result of the nightmare that was COVID. But there are consequences. So at the very least, if you are a work from home or side gig kind of person, employee, get out of your bed. You need a dedicated workspace so that you can fix your workspace so that your computer is up, where when you're reading it, you're having your head up so you don't end up a hunchback. Okay? Need to be looking up. You also need to be set up so that you're not always using this. You need a break from the electronics around you. If you're work from home, when you go to bed at night, you should absolutely be turning your router off. Your body needs a break from the constant, electrons moving through your body. The 20-20-20 rule, you look at the screen for 20 minutes, then you look at something, focus on something that is 20 feet away, and you look at that for 20 seconds. That's the 20-20-20 rule. You need time out in the sunshine, a minimum of 20 minutes in the morning sun and 20 minutes in the afternoon sun. And you need to put a damn Fitbit or a pedometer on your Apple Watch. And you need to be really honest with yourself. How many steps am I getting every day? Because that is a direct effect on your heart. All right. Well, this was not that stereotypical wild speculation, was it? But when we see the little cave dwelling creature who worked from home after COVID and never fixed her desk properly. Whoops, going the wrong way. Never fixed her desk properly. She just sat in the bed, hunched over, making that money, gaining weight, immune system weakening it every day until she became the feared hunchback of Galveston, Texas. You don't want to end up like this lady. Get your computer up off the desktop, lift it up to eye level, get up off of your rear end and go take a walk, lest you become Anna, the product of artificial intelligence and COVID. All right, I'm done. If you liked the presentation, put a 1. If you thought it was dumb, put a 2. I feel sorry for Anna. I'm feeling some love for Anna. You know what I mean? Feeling like it'd be nice to go over, maybe play a game of Uno, take her some ice cream. You know what I mean? Oh, look at all these. The COVID creature from the deep. Zelda. Did you see her clawed hands? She has clawed hands from holding her mouse all the time. She turned into claws. All right. What did Martin say? Martin's a funny guy. Let me find what Martin said. I know. Martin, if you look at the title of this video, I think I called it the cherry on the cake of your day. This is going to make us all happy. So actually, I'm using good old fear, Martin, to motivate you to hold your head up, get your shoulders back, take a damn walk. Put the device down. Walk away from the computer. All right. Do you make the shortbread? Thanks for enlightening us while scaring us. Thank you for sharing information. You too, Shar. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Go look at nature. Elizabeth says, go look at some nature. I would, you know what, Callie? I hate to say it. Anna looks like she is a beast, doesn't she? Her arm, she's looking like, talk about me again, bitch. Excuse my language. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, got away from me. All right. All right. I bought some cheap blue light glasses to try to help with the screens. Yeah, I'm having that trouble, Lacey, the burning eyes. Yeah. I used Bisquick, butter, and sugar. I processed 4 flatbreads with hood strawberries. Yum, 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 yum. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you. I did, I'm trying to get the microphone, and people are awesome. And I really appreciate you helping me more than you know. And like I said, I'll get it all. It'll all be out in the open, exactly what was collected and then how much the stuff cost that I bought. And right now I just have the microphone and then the arm. But I'm thinking about just a cheap Chromebook and then a soundboard. Soundboard are like $40. They're not a lot. So, but I'll be accountable, for everything that you've helped with. Thank you. No, I am grateful, Truth Seeker. I'm grateful. I am. Y'all are definitely an asset to my life. I like having all you friends and place to come and talk to everybody, and it's nice. It's good community. So, all right, y'all. I got to get out in the world. Speaking of doing my duties, I got to go. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday, and I'll be back tomorrow. I won't be here. I'm going to be somewhere else, but I'll be live. All right. Thanks. I appreciate y'all being here. And tomorrow we're going to talk about a criminal or something. See you later. Bye.